Hello dear class, and welcome to this absolute shit. What? I said nuclear war weapons? Well, I only said that because I forgot what I was going to do at that time. Anyways, welcome to my presentation. It's all about how idiotic a certain community is, and I shall, with very easily accessible evidence, emphasize the stupidity in the anti-vaccination movement. To start, I'll let you hear the definition of the word vaccination. It's a treatment with a vaccine to produce immunity against disease. Inoculation. Inoculation being a term similar to vaccination, and vaccine meaning a substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against one or several diseases. Prepared from the causative agent of a disease, its products, or a synthetic substitute treated to act as an antigen without inducing the disease. Knowing that, let's move on to the main topic, anti-vaxxers. They are a community of people that believe that the vaccinations may be harmful to their children or relatives. It's kind of sad actually, that in this day and age where logic and science should reaffirm people that they are safe with new innovations, new ways of thinking, etc. being made every day. It's now just being doubted and looked down upon by people who think it's dangerous just because they didn't thoroughly study it in a school or they saw big words they don't understand about on the internet and came to the conclusion of,
And now, me and my wife do not condone vaccinations, as we know it's better to use natural oils and aged
Now, I do realize that they are terribly misinformed, and for those willing to listen, shall understand that their methods were wrong, vaccinate their children, and not accidentally start the plague again, since it's bad enough the coronavirus is around. The misinformation and mistrust of vaccination that has been spread can be dated back to when vaccination started over a century ago. In 1798, a doctor by the name of Edward Jenner had successfully tested the country lore that injecting a small dose of relatively mild smallpox would give protection against it. Of course, it applied to all diseases too, and so it became a global phenomenon within a decade. And within the decade, also came savage and violent protest against it. Of course, not everybody was like that. Some were more restrained and just didn't take it due to either sanitary, religious, scientific, or political reasons, thought it unhealthy or unreligious to use material from a cow, skeptical about its effects, didn't believe that it would give lifelong immunity. As we know now, that isn't an effect that comes from vaccinations, and or just rejected being told what was good for them. And so, cases popped up left and right around London at that time, resulting in over 300 cases of disease and over 30 deaths. Of course, the number went up and down, but by the time we got to the 19th and 20th century, the numbers dwindled. By 1970, smallpox was actually considered eradicated, and in 2017, measles was also considered eradicated. Which brings us to today. The movement is still around and their stories are spread online, mostly on social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And these stories are mostly based on non-scientific evidence and more on the basis of what they've heard about. This has caused measles and mumps to increase in number again in England, as in 2016 there were only 530 cases of measles and 573 cases of mumps recorded in that year. Whilst in 2018 there was a big rise in the number of measles and mumps cases, as you can see behind me. Whilst this happens in the UK, on the global stage, there have been over 9.8 million cases of measles recorded, and it's been estimated that measles has killed over 140,000 people. Most of these deaths recorded were made up of children under the age of 5. If things get worse and the number of vaccinated people drops below 90%, preventable diseases will quickly spread again. There are ways to stop this, of course. One of these ways is for officials in the government to step in, apply laws for it to be completely mandatory to do so, and when not complying, will be fined and restricted access to areas until we've taken the vaccination. We can take it into our own hands by attempting to convince the anti-vaxxers that vaccines really and truly are safe to take and are made specifically to protect us. Another way is to pull a segregation move and make it so that we separate people who are unvaccinated from the vaccinated to avoid the spread of diseases, to entice parents to vaccinate their children so their child can have a normal childhood without being avoided like a gosh darn plague. There is plenty of other ways to convince the people that are part of the movement, just that if I were to list all of them, this presentation would become too long, so I shall end it here. It has enlightened me on how dumb some can be and how myths can go around masquerading as the truth. But anyway, I do hope everyone enjoyed watching this presentation, and I'm sure this shall be the last video presentation I'll do, unless I'm given explicit permission to do another one. Anyways, I wish you all good luck on your own presentations. See ya.